Hey folks, how's things? Jer here at The View with a match reaction. I don't know if anyone can hear me or if this is even working. My PC is just literally frozen, and that's a problem because it's brand new. It's really laggy and really slow. But let me know in the comments if you can hear or see me, because I genuinely no idea if anyone can at this point. Um, right, there's a lot to get into in that game. I am just still also waiting for someone to tell me that it's okay and they can hear me. Don't think you can. I'll get rid of that off the bottom. Here we go. How's everyone doing? Yeah, we all right? Yeah. Can hear and see. Great. Thanks, folks. Yeah, brilliant. So probably not going to get into the comments enough. I'm going to try and do this as quickly as I can because, as I said, everything is failing on me right now. So I don't know why. It's a brand new laptop. I only bought it last week. So I'm having problems with that already. So we'll get into this and we'll just start, I suppose. Look, the first thing I suppose is that it's the first game of the season. And probably shouldn't reach a huge amount into the first game of the season. Yeah, it is a bit laggy. I can't do anything about it, folks. I really can't. It's already annoying me enough as it is. So I can't do anything about it. For whatever reason, stuff is breaking. I'll try and close down a few windows and see if that makes any kind of a difference at all here, because it's really struggling and I don't know why it is. Can't figure it out. Funny I worked in IT. Imagine that. No idea what's going on with this. There, everything is shut down. Give me 2 seconds. I'll try and see if I can close some stuff and I'll see if we can get this working properly because it's pretty laggy. I know, so don't worry about it, but I'd rather it was done properly, and it doesn't seem to be working properly. So I'll try and close a few bits and down and see if that makes any kind of an impact at all. I'll get it sorted over the weekend. Anyway, right, crack on. Let's get into this. It's okay. Keep plugging away. I will, Renee. Thanks. Appreciate that. Right, so first half, look, as I said, first game of the season. We know they're not exactly where they need to be right now. It's been said enough over preseason. Farke has said it a lot that we need to get through the first month and he needs the fans behind us. But if you look at the game all up, it's a dominant performance in terms of percentage of possession, but that doesn't mean anything unless you do anything with the ball. In the first half, Leeds created an awful lot of chances but didn't score. The lacking of a natural finisher is still an issue for me, and I don't think if Rutter or Bamford are in there, it makes any difference to where the goals could have come from in the first half. There was balls played across the box again. We had nobody in there to tap them in. It's a natural poacher that I think we're desperately missing, and don't think Paddy is that, and I also don't think Rutter is that. So I still think Leeds need to go out and buy number 9. And just to say this, seeing how steep teams are going to sit against Leeds and seeing how Leeds are playing, for me, I don't think Perot fits the system either. I think you need to have somebody who can be in and around the box and not a player who's going to get most of his goals by running in behind, because there isn't going to be any space to run in behind. You go through the game, I made some notes during the game. I wrote a note in the 3rd minute. I said our defense is super narrow, which worries me because if our wingers aren't tracking back, that leaves a problem, and it did become a problem. I had issues with Sinisterra for the bulk of the game in terms of every time we touched the ball, he took too long on it. Got caught in possession. Somerville the same. Now the both of them linked up for the final goal, which is great to see. Fair play to them, but I didn't think we got a huge amount out of the two of them outside of that. Sinisterra was tidy at moments, but again, caught in possession, overcarried it, overplays it, miss out on opportunities to play players in when they're there. I thought Willie Nonto had a pretty decent game in the number 9. But if you go through the game, first half, up until the 15th minute, it's kind of a sussing out. Leeds most of the possession. I think Leeds were sitting on something like 68% possession at that stage, which was great to see. There's a chance in the 15th minute. There's a break from Somerville, puts Nonto through. He hesitates with the first shot, gets the second shot away. Fortunately, it's not saved. And then actually Gray tries to follow up with striking. Unfortunately, that doesn't go in. A minute later, there's another chance. This time it's a cross-field ball. It's a lovely header from Luke Ayling back into Willie Nonto. It bounces in on the volley. He puts it just wide. A minute later, there's another chance for Leeds. This time it's a ball across the box from Cini. Ball to front, outside the box to Cini. Whipped across the box by Dan James. Nonto, Somerville are in there as well. We don't score. Yeah, 62% possession in the 90th minute. And then the issue with the narrow defense comes into play because there's a goal. Bill is miles wide. You know, Ayling and Nonto ball watching. Ayling gets sucked inside. Willie Nonto doesn't track O'Dowd. A lot of people pointing out that Luke Ayling should have been tracking Callum O'Dowd. Callum O'Dowd is the left back, which means either Sinisterra or Somerville need to be tracking it. But Willie Nonto was in that position at that time. He lets O'Dowd just run open. Space is left by Ayling because he goes in to pick up Ramsey for some bizarre reason, and then it's across the box and it's a goal. But it's a goal we've seen Leeds concede again, a pull back to the edge and a shot taken. There's 3 players on top of that, Ampadu, Cooper, and Stroke, and it still manages to find its way in the bottom corner. Melee doesn't do anything to get across, but he can't really see it. And then the second goal from Cardiff is comes after another chance from Leeds. This time we held it, and Cini working with Nonto down the wing, and Somerville has a lovely strike, which the keeper saves for a corner. And then 2 minutes later, the ball's in the back of the net again, and this time again, for me, Leo Hjelde. Sorry, Jer, could you be any recent updates on your PC? Probably Nate, but I'll get to it. I bought this last week from Man I Trust and in Harvey Norman, and I'm really disappointed in what I've got so far. Anyway, yeah, the chance comes in. Hjelde and Cini and Nonto, lovely work on the left-hand side. Ball gets played through. Somerville has a lovely strike on goal, and it's a great save by the keeper, and it's a corner. And then for the goal, a minute later, they break down the pitch. Again, it's a breakdown the park. Same as last season. Same issues again from the defence. Leo Hjelde is so weak on the left-hand side of the fullback. It's scary. He gets done in behind with a yard of space, which is poor defending. Cooper has to go across to try and press the danger because Hjelde gets caught behind the ball. Stroke, for some reason, decides to come all the way across and cover instead of just covering the space. Him and Cooper get each other's way, but Stroke is super weak in the tackle. Like, really, it's a 50-50, puts his foot into the ball, loses it, goes across. And then Ayling can't get across. Began again because we're so narrow. Ayling is tucked all the way in. Ball goes to the back post and to tapping. But again, on that goal, Ayling gets across from the middle to the back post. And in that length of time, Ilan Melier hasn't moved on the goal line. Hasn't tried to get across the line to identify the danger. Stands and looks, which is an issue for me as well. And then halftime comes, and I said at halftime, for me, Hjelde comes off. I would have taken Stroke off as well, and I would have probably brought Byram on, which they did. It was a right decision to make. Thought Byram made it fantastic. If you go through the first half, it was a decent start. It's a dominant performance in terms of possession in the game, which I thought we did very, very well. We have 3 chances before they scored. We should score one of them. And that's the lack of a goal scorer. And again, I say the same thing. If Bamford's in there, I don't think we score. If Rutter's in there, I don't think we score. Leeds need to identify a player who can score goals in this system. And again, I'll say it. If you look at it, I don't see how Joe Perreault makes any difference in that position because the kind of player he is in the system we're playing. It was so slow and build up in the first half, and Cardiff were comfortable with it. They could get behind the ball. It's a low block. It's a really compact low block. Should be said, Cardiff defended incredibly well in that game. For the bulk of that game until injury time, they defended really, really well. But it's a really slow build up constantly. It's awful defending across the back line. Easy goals again. Said it last season. We'll say it again. Leeds United are too easy to score against, and it needs to get better. And Somerville was overcarrying the ball. And I said it to my mates, I wasn't blown away with Sinisterra or Somerville in the game because they just kept getting caught in possession of the ball. Yes, they're involved for the winner, and that's great. Second half, people saying that the 2 halves were different. I don't think the 2 halves were different. I just think we kept the ball better in the second half in the attacking play, and we didn't lose it as easily, and then we weren't getting caught on breakaways. But the defense is poor. I mean, the first half, the attack do everything they do to create chances. And I think if we don't concede after our 3 chances, we probably score. But again, it's mistakes. Second half, Byram comes on for Hjelde. Massive upgrade. Anyone who's saying that Sam Byram is a downgrade of being brought in as a left back doesn't know what they're talking about with football. He had a fantastic second half and was far better than Leo Hjelde, both in attack and in defense, and gave Leeds an awful lot more going into it. 47 minutes, just in the second half, Leeds have a chance. Ayling runs in behind, square ball to Nonto. It's cut back. Goes out for corner. We score from that corner. Liam Cooper appears to either do his heel, his Achilles tendon, or lower half of his calf. It's a ligament injury, and that's the end of Liam Cooper's start to season at Leeds. And he could scupper any chance of a move he had to Saudi Arabia, but Leeds now need to move rapidly on a defender because that has to be dealt with immediately. Creswell comes on for Cooper. Then at that point, there's a chance straight away. Byram and James link up really, really well. Nonto runs to defense. It's a shot at the keeper, which is saved. Bounces up, hits top of the crossbar, goes out for a corner. Willie Nonto came into his own in the second half. I thought he was very, very good. Good in the first half. He was good in the 9. No issue with Willie Nonto. I just wrote down Leeds have come out determined in the second half, but again, it's slowed down at times and sped up and slowed down. The speed and the fitness levels that are getting there, but not 100%. Then we score in the 67 minute, although it's ruled out for offside for Luke Ayling. He's caught offside, and that's an issue for me as well. And I wrote it down in big letters at the top of the page. Fullbacks getting caught offside. What are you doing? You can see across the entire line. You should be timing your runs better. Luke Ayling was caught offside 3 or 4 times. Byram was caught offside a couple of times. Hjelde was caught offside a couple of times. They need to time those runs better. disciplined defenses against you. You need to time your runs better, and they didn't do enough of that. But if Ailing times that run better, Dan James scores. It counts. Dan James, for me, in the first half, wasn't in the game, but I don't think it was necessarily his fault. We didn't get the ball out to the left-hand side enough. We didn't do enough with it. When he does get on it in the second half, I thought he was much better in the second half before he went off. I thought he had a very good second half. But again, because the ball was coming out to the left-hand side an awful lot more, we seem to play down the manager's side on both halves. Then there's a chance in the 73rd minute. Nanto again, through ball. Sinisterra with a really poor touch, gets caught under his feet, goes down. Not a penalty, poor effort. 76th minute, there's another chance for Leeds. Somerville pulls a shot, just out. Pulls a shot across the goal, gets a touch, goes out for a corner. And what I wrote down at this point was Leeds are not getting enough bodies in the box for the second ball. So that ball goes all the way across to the back post, and there's no one coming into the back post. James can't get there in time. We're hesitating our runs. 80-minute Leeds. There's a sub. Gallagher and Pavetta come on. Ian Pavetta again when he came on is an absolute. I called him a lightning in a bottle. I thought he was excellent again when he came on. And for me, he has to start games because the way he runs at people, the little gaps he finds for little pokey balls. I'm doing this with my head because I'm trying to direct where the ball goes. But those little balls in behind make perfect sense. I think he needs to start games for me. And I just texted my mate Brian and said, I'm not blown away with Sinisterra or Somerville. And then in the 94th minute, Sinisterra pulls the ball inside, has a shot, bounced off 3 defenders, and a fantastic reaction from Chris Somerville and puts the ball in the bottom corner. To go through the players in it, Ilan Meslier was fine, except the second goal, I think he needs to move. Now, I could be being way too harsh on Meslier. Let me know in the comments if you think I am being too harsh. But I think he needs to be better on that and get across the goal. He doesn't. I think the defense all up is poor. And I think the story of this game is the Leeds defense, as it was last season, the likes of Stroke, Cooper, and Ailing in it. Cooper was fine, by the way. Cooper did very little wrong. But having that back line and Leo Kjeld at left back is not a good enough defense. Will make mistakes. Will give opposition chances. Can't be in there. For me, I wouldn't. If we got fit defenders, Pascal Stroke comes out of that team for me. I don't think he's a strong enough defender. I don't think he's strong enough in the tackle. I don't think he reads the game well enough. There's a lot of stuff there for me. You go into the attacking side, it's best. Ailing, I thought he was poor for both goals. Not at fault necessarily, but first one, he gets sucked into Ramsey, tries to cover space instead of, as I don't like agreeing with Keith Andrews, but as he said at halftime in the game, space doesn't score goals, players does. Ailing went after the space, left the player. Nanto doesn't track the run. Does that. Second goal, I think Ailing is poor as well. Gets sucked all the way in, too narrow. Doesn't look at the danger behind him. Doesn't scan. Same happened in pre-season against Monaco. Wasn't watching his shoulders. Was ball watching. Got caught. Leo Kjeld, just not good enough. Not good enough if we're going to be in a promotion team. I thought he had a very poor half, and I haven't been blown away by him in pre-season either. So could be look at moving him out on loan and getting a left back. But Leeds need to address that. Sam Byram has to start next game. Kjeld probably gets a second shot at it on Tuesday night in the cup match. Liam Cooper was fine, then gets injured, unfortunately. Pascal Stroke, as I said, poor, weak in tackles, and very poor in the second goal as well. He should block that. He should be harder on that tackle, win that tackle, push the player away, and pass the ball out. You're a big, huge, strong defender. Be a big, strong defender. He's too weak in tackles for me. And again, I keep saying the same things. Ampadu, I thought he was good in possession. I thought he could have done a bit better out of possession, covering gaps and making tackles, but he was fine. Second half, much, much better. I thought Archie Gray, considering the 17-year-old kid, didn't look out of place in there, but I don't think our midfield is strong enough. I think we need more in there, creativity-wise. But I thought he had a very good game, Archie. I thought when he did have the ball, he used it really, really well. He got around the park. He got up in support when he needed to. He covered back when he needed to. Did exactly what he needed to do in the game, so no issue there. Sinisterra, I wrote down decision-making, was poor during the game, was hanging onto the ball too long, was killing Leeds' moves by not anticipating danger when the ball was passing to his feet. He wasn't expecting anyone to tackle him, so takes an extra touch, gets clobbered, loses the ball, breaks out. But very much involved in the second goal. There is quality there, but again, if teams are going to sit deep against us, we need to find another way to play with these defenders because they're not going to have that space to run into the wingers, the likes of Sinisterra and the likes of Nanto and Somerville. Somerville wrote down the same thing, involved in the game, was looking for the ball, was busy, attitude looked good, but again, holds onto the ball too much for me at times and dives way too much. There's a lot of calls for half penalties, and the rules have changed this year. Unless there's no effort to win the ball, it's not going to be given as a penalty. Contact is allowed in the box now, but it has to be enough to bring the player down. It goes down way too easy for me in some situations. I think if he stays on his feet, he either creates a better opportunity or he actually gets properly tackled and gets a penalty. And then I thought Nanto, should have had a couple of goals in the first half. He really, really should have. I think he was disappointed himself, but did enough. Looked fine in there for me, and I was happy enough with what I saw from him. And that was it. I think if you look at the whole game, all up, dominant performance by Leeds in terms of possession, poor defending in the first half cost us that game. Simple as that. Simple as that. Cardiff did defend really, really well and deserve a huge amount of credit. They're a different outfit than they were last year, although we'll find out over the next couple of games if they are, but there's that. Teams are going to sit back against us. We've got to figure out a way of breaking them down. It's great to see us scoring from a corner, finally. It's great to see Leeds scoring from corners. But we've got players in there that can do it. We've got good delivery from Archie Gray and from Somerville as well, so that was good. If we're going to get out of this division, everyone's screaming for a striker. For me, it's not the issue. We scored twice. It's not the issue. For me, the defense is the issue. We need to get that sorted. Cody Draman needs to get fit. If he's not fit, we need to get another right back. If it is a case that he's unfit and he's just injured, great. Get him back in as quick as we can. Sam Barron goes in at left back, but I think we need to look at a centre back. I just don't believe Pascal Stroke is good enough to be in the Leeds team. That's being blatantly honest with you. I don't think he's a good championship defender, let alone a Premier League defender. So that needs to be changed for me. Yeah, and when we have our chances, we've got to start taking them. It's a very first half. Those 3 chances before Cardiff score, Leeds score one of them. It's a very different game. Cardiff have to come out and play a bit more to create space in behind for us to attack them. It's a different game. So yeah, for me, the main priority for Leeds in the transfer market now needs to be the sort of defensive because they're not good enough. Could be wrong. Chat's not working now. Nothing's working. So I'll wrap this up and I'll say goodbye. I just want to say massive thanks to everyone who's jumped in on the stream. If you like the channel, if you like what I'm doing here, you can subscribe to the channel and like the video, which helps it. The news on Friday is still floating around as well in the podcast from this week with Kate Max and Lockie are still there as well. You can check that out as well. And I'll be back on Monday morning for Leeds news. So I'll see you tomorrow morning for more Leeds news. Have a fantastic day. And yeah, sorry about the quality of this. I have no idea what's going on, but I'll sort it out and I'll talk to you soon. See you then. Bye.